Why, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. And today we are going to look at all the locations in RiseToWar, all the big locations: Minas Tirith, Dol Guldur, Mordor, and Baradur. You know, all those different cool places. We're going to look at all the different tiles that look really cool that are like city tiles today in this episode. Again, if you're my Lord of the Rings Online crowd, you might not want to see this. That's fine. But if you want to see it, it's pretty cool. They're really cool. We're going to compare them. Which ones look like the movies, which ones don't, that kind of stuff. We'll get right into it. Again, I'm your hosting guide, Zollin Ironshield, as always. Don't forget to like and subscribe, you guys. The little subscribe button will be at the end too if you want, or you can click it down there. It really helps a lot. Welcome if you're new and you're just checking this out because you like RiseToWar, the new phone game. Absolutely, you're in the right place too. We're doing some videos on that right now. So let's enjoy. We're here at the tavern, but let's go right into it. We're going to pop up here. We're going to go to the world map. We've been having some stuff going on, but what we're going to do is we're going to use the little search engine and we're going to look around at the world map at all the different spots, right? Now, for example, the little circles, which are the keeps, they're a generic look, so they're all going to look like this, all right? Just so you can see it, right? So we're looking at all the big world tiles, right? So again, here is one of the generic looking keeps, right? Again, this is the Brownlands keep, but they all look like this, all right? We're not going to look at those copies. We're going to look at all the unique looking tiles, right? So usually you can use the little search engine, right, to do this. When you're in the map mode. So you click on the map first. Don't use that search one. Click on the map first. You bring this up. Now you're going to see this thing on the side here. We're basically going to go through this. All these unique places, right? We're going to check them all out and look at what they all look like. Compare them. Did they make them look like the movie? Did they take a little inspiration from maybe Lord of the Rings Online? Or did they take inspiration, you know, from the books? That kind of thing, right? So let's pop through these. We're going to just start right at the top. The main control point of the game, Dol Guldur. So I'm going to go to that point. So here's this one. It looks pretty darn cool. We have it surrounded right now for this season, at least at this point in the game. But it looks pretty cool. You can see there's the ring floating at the top there because it's the control point. But again, it looks rather awesome. You can tell they took inspiration from the Hobbit movies for this particular one. I like it. That gives a cohesion to the game then, especially for people who maybe don't know the lore and maybe don't play like Lord of the Rings Online or read the books a lot. You know what I mean? Of course, here, me, Zollin, I do all of that. But you know what I'm saying. You probably do too if you're big fans of this. If you're looking at this, you probably do. But anyway, let's go to the next one. So that had definitely inspiration from the movie, right? But I want to let you take a good look at it. You can't rotate in this game, so it's just one view. Otherwise, I'd rotate around it so you can see it, and that's about as close as I can get using BlueStacks. All right, let's hop over to the Grey Havens, the capital of Linden, the faction. So obviously, they went a little bit more creative on this, right? But it's definitely still inspired from the movies, because if you imagine the movies when they have those 2 points when they're when they leave, right in the end, the ship from the Grey Havens. This is probably, and where they come down, right, to leave, this is definitely inspired probably from the movie. But you can tell they did do a little creative license, so that's very cool, very cool. I think they did a good job. Let's go ahead and hop to the next thing. All right, Kindland, or say Kinedland. I don't know how you say it. It's the faction capital of Rune, or the Easterlings. It's pretty cool. You can see it's got like a Roman Colosseum thing going on over here, kind of thing, or like, you know, place, and then pretty cool fortress. Yeah, it's pretty cool. There you go. Enjoy that for a minute there. All right, pretty cool. All right, now we're gonna pop up and we're gonna go to Baradur, right? The Eye, or the I see you, right? That kind of thing. I like how the music changes too. Wherever you go, if you notice, guys, the music will change. Wherever the location what land we're in. Here we're in Mordor. Boom, boom. Alright, so it looks pretty cool, right? There's the Eye, the capital of Mordor, basically. Alright, we're going to the next one. Edoras, home of the Horse Lords, the capital of Edoras. It looks very nice. Now, this one is definitely more, it's inspired from a little bit. You can see how the music has changed again. It's inspired. Let me get rid of that stupid thing right in the middle of the... So, oh my gosh, that's so annoying that it does that. I misclicked. My apologies, everyone. There we go. So Edoras, right? Home of the Horse Lords. Pretty cool. It was, let's see. So definitely inspired from the movie with being on a hill, right? But not quite the same as the movie, right? A little bit more elaborate. They took a little bit more idea from like the Lord of the Rings Online did, right? For the books. little more fancy. In the movie, they made it more of a, they were more of a quaint fortress on the hill, right? It wasn't quite as fancy as that. All right, but I like it. It looks cool. Next one. Ho ho! We're gonna go to Orthank, capital of Isengard faction, right? It's obviously after Isengard was defiled, basically, by Saruman cutting all the trees down and making orc pits everywhere, but very cool, very cool. Definitely inspired from the movies. Orthank looks a little different than the movies, though. It actually looks a little bit more like the Lord of the Rings Online. I've noticed that I think they may have taken a little inspiration from the Lord of the Rings Online, too, which is kind of cool, as well as the movies, to get these looks. Just going to click that real quick, get my respect things. And now we're going to go to Cerith Galahond, right? Or the capital of Lothlorien, or in this case, the capital of the Lothlorien faction. Very cool, very cool. Lothlorien faction is combined with Rivendell and Mirkwood too. That's their that elven faction. It's really pretty though, isn't it? It's very cool. I like the water. Very beautiful. And now the elven music we have. Very cool, very cool. All right, we're gonna go to the next one. Erebor, one of my favorites. Definitely very cool. Now, interestingly enough, it looks slightly inspired, and someone has their troops there, I see. Slightly inspired by the movie, but not quite. If you look at that gate, it looks quite different than the movie. So, very cool. Also, the epic dwarven music. I love it. So epic, right? Alright, so, Erebor, Minas Tirith. Music's gonna change again. So the capital of Gondor faction. Minas Tirith, City of Kings. Obviously, 100% inspired by the movie's version of Minas Tirith. So it looks very good. Little white tree of Gondor, little pool. Just go, take a little swim right there. Alright, anyway, epic. Interesting to me that they did put a little tower back here for the... They follow, that's kind of cool, the little lighting of the beacons, right? I don't know if there's any others. I think it's just the one. Oh, nope, there is. Oh, little secret thing I just figured out. I did not realize they had this. Look at that. It even got little lore on it. That's kind of cool. Does it go all the way to... There's another one. It goes all the way down the mountain range. That's pretty cool. All right, well, we just found something out. It looks like it goes all the way to Gondor. So it would probably go to here, and then there would be another one here. There's another one. And then that should pop right over to Edoras, which is right around here, I believe. Right? We're pretty close to Edoras. Anyway, I'm sure they probably kept it to that. But anyway, Gondor. It doesn't have the burial grounds on their side, but that is cool. It looks like Gondor just took a region, like we just took a region today. That's pretty cool. Okay, Minas Tirith, Anuminos. Hint, hint, for all my lore fans out there, what capital of what country in the lore was this originally? If you said, I gave you a few seconds, if you said Arnor, you are correct. The northern Númenorian country, right, when Arnor and Gondor were both founded. So Anuminos. Now, Anuminos is not in the movies, right, in the Lord of the Rings movies, because they didn't show it. So, but it is in the Lord of the Rings Online video game, and I believe they took some inspiration from it, the way they did the towers, but they also took some stuff out of the book. So I think they did a really good job on that. Kudos to the RiseToWar team. I think it looks fantastic. Well done. All right, so there's a Numenos. Really, really cool. It's Arthedain faction, and again, the reason they call it Arthedain is that is one of the three split countries of Arnor later in the history, Arthedain. So it was the one with the most claim to the throne, too. So anyway, that's Second Age lore. We're not doing lore right now. You can check out my lore. We can do lore stuff later. Cardoom! Let's see Cardoom, the capital of Angmar faction. There it is. It looks freaking epic, actually. Again, we didn't see these in the movies. This is straight out of their thing. Now, very interesting. I think my gut feeling is they might have taken a little bit Lord of the Rings Online, but I think where they got a lot of the inspiration for this particular building is from Battle for Middle-earth. you guys are fans of that. I have a couple on my Lord of the Rings excursion playlist here too, but I think they got inspiration from the Angmar faction in that game, because this building in particular here and the way these pillars all come out looks a lot like that lore. They definitely went around and looked at games and everything, and then looked at the books and movies and are like, how are we going to get the inspiration? So well done. I really think they did a good job with that. All right, so next one we're going to Eredluin Keep. Now, Eredluin Keep is just the generic keep, I believe. Now, what I think they should do with Eredluin is it's just one of the generic looking keeps. They should have done Thorin's Hall. Would have been cool. But I think here's the glitch. They did this is the issue though, I think, why they didn't do that. Let me with the way they split up the regions, Thorin's Hall would technically be up here, and Eredluin is technically this mountain range that goes all the way through here and splits by this bay. But they just did this area, and I think that's why they just did a random keep, because that wouldn't really work out, right? So again, though, it is a special keep, which is interesting. It has a slightly different look, but it's pretty much one of the generic keeps. All right, so we're going to move on to the next thing we want to look at today is Hobbiton. Not a main capital, but is a special keep, and inspired by the movies, obviously. You can even see Bag End in the tree, and the way the houses look, and the bridge, and all that. Definitely inspired by the movies. Looks great. I think they did a great job. What do you guys think? I think they did a great job. All right, so that's a good one. Again, you can pause the video if you want to look at it a little longer. I'm not going to sit on them too long because we got to go through a lot of them. Dol Amroth. Now, here's a big one for me. All right, so this looks beautiful. This is not in the movies. We may see this in the Amazon TV series. That would be pretty cool, all right? Possibly. I don't know. Possibly. There's a high chance. Depends on where they go with the time and how much they jump through time. But this is pretty cool. I think they got inspiration in this from Lord of the Rings Online, the way Lord of the Rings Online did it, and from the books. It looks really good. Fantastic. I give them an A+. All right. So, now we're going to go to Oskillionth, the original capital of Gondor. You all know that, right? The ruined city from the movie originally was the capital, right? And Minas Tirith on one side had some stuff, and Minas Morgul, or before it was evil, right? Minas Ithil, I think it was called. Those were two main cities. But this one was where everyone came. This is where their main leadership was, and where the king stayed, that kind of stuff, before it got destroyed. But again, it doesn't quite look like really anything. It just looks like a ruined city the way they did in the game. I don't really see inspiration. It's a ruined city, right? But it's probably they took inspiration a little from the movie, but they did this pretty much on their own look. So, but it's fine. Looks good. I think they did good. All right, next one. We're gonna keep going here. There's a lot of Pelegrin. All right, one of the ocean city. Again, Dol Amroth is the capital of. It's actually a main city. This is another big city. I believe they took inspiration from this particular city from the Lord of the Rings Online. Again, like Dol Amroth. I think for sure, if you look at the Lord of the Rings Online version of this city, it looks very similar to this description. Of course, it is described in the book a little bit too. So anyway, very cool. Gondor was not the only city, by the way. They also came to the aid of Gondor, but they were fighting the Corsairs in the lore. So, all right, here's another special one, but it just looks like one of the generic keeps. Again, see, it looks the same. So we're not going to worry about that, even though it's named. Maybe in the future they'll change the look a little bit. We'll see. We'll see. And now we're going to go to Menace. All right. Okay, so this one's named Mad Ortong. It's a Gondor. It's technically, I think it's probably like Haradrim, maybe Easterlings. I'm not sure. It looks really cool. They just added it. So in season 2, it's just a special side keep. It's not a capital or anything of anyone. But anyway, kind of cool. Pretty cool. A+. Has that look of Easterling or Haradrim. Not quite sure which one it's supposed to be. Feel like Haradrim, probably, if this is Easterling, but it's closer to Easterlings. Haradrims are down here, even though that's not a faction, right? There are Mumakil camps, though, in this, so they are included near Mordor. Their lore. All right, so there's a lot more cool things. We're getting there. We're going through it quick, though. Helms Deep. We gotta see Helms Deep. Okay, so 100% inspired by the movie, right? Like, look at that. 100%, right? Looks great. They did a great job. Bum, 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 bum. So there's that one. Again, I like to see all these different things, right? All right, so now Gundabad. They just added this one for Season 2. They obviously didn't add the Dwarven version of Gundabad from Lord of the Rings Online. They added the version of a keep near Gundabad that's in The Hobbit, right? So this is inspired directly out of The Hobbit, right? When they see that keep, when Legolas and Tauriel, the made up character, but she's really good in the movie, right? Go and see that keep. Again, that whole part's a little bit made up, right? Because Legolas didn't do that in the Hobbit lore, but that's okay. He was in the Hobbit book in like one sentence, but you know they added him in. But we all know that. But I mean, Orlando Bloom did a good job, so I'm not too upset about it. It's fine. I enjoyed it. But yeah, look at that. It's pretty cool. Still looks very scary, very cool. Moving on. Try not to go too crazy in the lore. We're here to look at how cool they look. That's all, and compare them. That's what this video is about. Moria. Really cool. Okay, so they took a little creative license. Basically, Moria's keep is literally just from the movie, right? This was like that spot from the movie. The watery pool, the gates of Moria, right? The Holland Gate, as it is called. Interestingly enough, little sneak thing, right? My name's Zollin, which is completely, I made up completely, right? Very interesting. It sounds like Holland. Sounds like a dwarf name, right? Zollin Ironshield. That's all my own made-up name, though. Copyright is mine. Alrighty. But, found that very interesting later that this was the Holland Gate. I did not know that before I made the name Zollin. Just throwing that out there. So, interesting how little things work together like that, isn't it? Little lore fact for your host here. Yeah, so, yeah. It's pretty cool. So, obviously, this whole thing is Moria, and it's the front gate, right? Alright, sweet. So, we saw Moria. Next thing we're going to see is Rivendell, which is not a capital, but it is a big fortress for the elf team. Rivendell. This is obviously inspired by, I would say inspired by the movie slightly, yes. But if you actually look at the way this is laid out, this front gate, this and this, it's very big inspiration, I think, from, again, the Battle for Middle-earth, the strategy game from many years ago from EA Games. I think that's where it is. Maybe a little bit Lord of the Rings Online, but I think it's mostly movies and the Battle for Middle-earth. I think that's where they got the inspiration for that. They did a good job. I like it. It's kind of fun to see the slight differences on everything, right, for everyone's creativity. Rivendell, the Elven Halls of King Thranduil, right? Again, not a capital, part of the Lothlorien Elves, but even though really they're their own thing, but that's how they did it for the game, the Risk game type of thing here. Risk. R-I-S-K. Risk game. Yeah, so look at that. Looks great, very cool. It doesn't really look undergroundish like they are in the movies or anything, so they kind of just did their own version of it, right? This doesn't really look like any version that I've seen in any game or what the books describe, but they did cool. It's cool. I think they did a good job. All right, next one. We're going to hop around and see. Okay, so have we done all the main locations? Non-keep, keep. So all of these keeps are just generic keeps. Eastern Mithrin Keep. These are all just generic keeps. They're all going to look identical like I showed you. I'm just going to make sure I don't miss anything here, though. Hills of Rune, keep. We're sliding past all these ones that just say keep because they're just all generic ones. Okay, there's one. This one. Oh, has a name, but is it just a generic keep? Oh, it's a generic keep. All right. Sorry. It's generic. We don't do generic here. We do awesome. Okay, let's see. Keeps. We're flying through. There's a lot of keeps on the map, as you can see. A lot of room for them to add new look places, though, like making them not just a keep, but a named place, which they did that with Gundabad. It used to be just a generic keep. So I hope they do that with more. Alright, so that's all the keeps. So now we're in the landmarks. So, obviously, Mount Doom, which is a location you can capture. Looks awesome. Listen to that roaring lava. You can hear it. And the music. Pretty awesome. some Nazgul flying around, some foul beasts. I mean, there's no Nazgul on the back of that foul beast, but look at that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty freaking awesome. Alright, so Mount Doom, that's a big one. I'm going to close control points. We're going to go to Dale, which is right below Erebor, which we own. Obviously, direct inspiration from the movie. 100%, right? So, not quite like the movie 100%, but it's inspired from the movie. You can tell. The Hobbit movies, alright? So now we're going to do... Oh, I missed Minas Morgul. My bad. We gotta go back to Minas Morgul. Minas Morgul? Movie, obviously, right? You go shout that out, right? Even I like how it's like only the beam, like when the Witch King shoots up that beam in the movie. Or, you know, what it used to be called Minas Ithil, right? Before it was corrupted. It actually had one of the White Trees of Gondor originally too, right? But we're not gonna go into lore. I'm restraining myself from going to lore because I don't want to make the video too long. We're just looking at the landmarks. Alright, Black Gate of Mordor. If you want me to do more lore things, leave a comment and we'll do it on the lore playlist on my channel. Okay. There we go. The Black Gate. Inspired 100% by the movies, as you can tell. Definitely. Definitely the movies. Alright, next one. We're going to look at... Minas Morgul. The Argonath! Which I actually have right here, the little models. Right there. In my room. They're really tiny, I know. But anyway, and again, inspired directly from the movies. They look great. They're fantastic. As always, very majestic. Spiffing, I might say. Alright, Blackgate, Argonath, Fornost. Very cool that they added Fornost. This was not here last season. Inspiration, I think it's just the look of Arnor. I don't think it's movie inspiration. It might have some inspiration from the Lord of the Rings Online. Not really. Doesn't really look like the way Lord of the Rings Online did Fornost. Maybe slightly with ruins, but I think this is kind of an original. I think they did a lot of this by themselves. It looks possibly a little bit like the Battle for Middle-earth, maybe, but I think this is all on them. So I think they did this. This is straight out of their inspiration from the books. So good job, RiseToWar. I like it. Look cool. All right, so there's Fornost. Oh, did I just miss two, or did it switch them up on me? Dunharrow. Well, we're hopping to Dunharrow. So everyone knows the ancient meeting ground, right? Right before the Path of the Dead, right? Dunharrow. Yeah! Alright, Dunharrow, and then we've got... Lake Town. Let's check that out. There it is, my friends, Lake Town. Very interesting. I don't really know where they got... I mean, maybe a little bit from the Hobbit movies, but it's pretty much very unique look. They kind of did it their own thing, so good job again, RiseToWar. Looks good. Maybe inspiration from other things a little bit, but looks pretty good. Fornost, Lake Town, the Tower of Cirith Ungol. Right? Where they take Frodo after he gets stabbed by Shelob with the... No, actually, guys, okay. One lore thing in the book, he actually gets bit by Shelob, and Shelob doesn't actually have a stinger. She has fangs, 2 fangs. But in the movie, they made a big stinger on her butt, because spiders don't actually usually have stingers, guys, if you think about it, right? But for the movie, it was pretty epic, so I'm totally gonna let that slide, Peter Jackson, because you did a fantastic job. So anyway, there we go. Tower of Cirith Ungol, inspiration, slightly different than the movie, but you get similar look with the path, right? So it's kind of unique. They kind of did their own thing. A little bit more like Lord of the Rings Online, actually, how they did it. But it's good. All right, okay, Weathertop is tiny on this map. Tiny. Looks so tiny. Obviously, it's completely inspired by the movie, the way it looks. Good job, though. It's just really tiny. It's a very small objective to take. It gives you stuff, but it's a very small one. All right, and then... Durin's Tower, which now there's a little issue here. I don't know if you can tell the issue right off the bat. Mountain range, Durin's Tower, Moria down here somewhere. The opening. realistically, they put it over here. Just it looks great. It's obviously inspired by the movies, right? Like when he's fighting the Balrog Gandalf on the top. But it's supposed to be on the highest peak of the mountains, which should be somewhere in the middle over here of the mountain range, not on the side of a little hill next to the where you. But they want people to be able to capture it, and you can't cross mountains in this game because they're like obstacles. So that's the reason. So there's a reason. There's a game reason, not a lore reason, right, for that. Because it's a big risk board. All right. So Durin's Tower, Bree. Let's see Bree. There it is. There's Bree, my friends. So that's pretty cool, right? That's obviously kind of inspired by, I don't know, this big crevice in the ground, though, this mountain behind it. This is kind of their own take on it. I mean, maybe a little bit of Lord of the Rings Online, because there are hills behind Bree and Lord of the Rings Online, and there is a divide with a wall like this. But also, like, the movies, maybe, but it kind of their own style, so cool. Bree's kind of their own thing, again. The Stone Troll. I didn't even know these things. I've never seen these. This is kind of cool. Look at that! It's Mr. Bilbo's Trolls! Look, Mr. Frodo, it's Mr. Bilbo's Trolls! As Frodo's dying from the Morgul blade in the movie. Alright, the Stone of Erich. So this is the black stone that basically, well, if he ever gets there, there it is, that they cursed the men of the mountains, Isildur did, right, when they didn't come to fulfill their oath. It's where they took the oath, by this stone, by the way, if you're curious. It's a really big stone, though, by the way, you guys. It's like 12 feet tall. So that's inspiration from the Lord of the Rings Online game, and then from the books. It's pretty simple. It's a black stone that's like, yep. There we go. That one's done. Is there anything else after that? No, there's the warning beacons. Okay, so there's all the warning beacons going along the hill. Like we found out at the beginning, which is really cool that those even exist. I think they're purely for cosmetic. They don't give anything. I don't think there's anything special about those. Okay, we did all those. Haradrim Keep. These are all the different locations and what is in that region, basically. But we just went through the whole list, so we're pretty much done. Well, if there's any more in the future, we will add more, my friends. But until that time, I think we are finished. We've done it. We have finished the exploration of all the main locations in RiseToWar. If you want, I might do some more in the future of, like, we could do different monster tiles and things like that. But we're going to keep it to that for this video. I want to do specifically on what I was going to do. I want to just give a quick little shout out to my Patreon. Thank you so much for your support. And you guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. The subscribe button is going to pop up right there. Next episode for this playlist will be up there. And my Lotro Tale, my main content, will be right there. So you guys check them out. I'm your hosting guys on Ironshield as always. And I'll see you in the next episode of Voice of the Rings, guys. Have a good one.